Now, as you guys may or may not know, recently I did a video taking a look at the fastest way to place blocks in Minecraft. Now, if you haven't seen that before, I put a link to that one on the screen and also down in the description. But I have to say the results of that one were a massive surprise. I was totally expecting a different set of results, so it really caught me off guard, and that got me thinking, what if the way that I've been mining blocks has also been very inefficient? So I came up with a few different methods, and we're going to be putting all of them to the test in today's video. I think it's going to be fairly interesting, so let's crack on. So this is how it's going to be. In front of me, I've got a 20 by 20 by 4 area, and when I hit this button down here, this space will fill in with stone. Now, for each one of the tests, we're going to be using the hasty beacon coupled with an efficiency 5 pickaxe to give us an insta mining setup, and that is because we're not going to be testing out different ways to mine. For example, haste 2, TNT, auto mining quarries, and that sort of thing, simply because I've done a video like that before. If you want to see that one, there'll be a link to that one down in the description. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at actual mining techniques, the way that you go about breaking the blocks. So for example, going across in 1 wide strips, going across in 3 wide strips, spiraling round, taking out 4 high areas, 3 high areas, 2 high areas. We just want to work out if certain ways of mining are considerably faster than others. So the first technique that I decided to try out is mining out a 2 high area that's 1 block wide, and I'm zipping back and forth throughout the platform, and then when I reach the end of the first 2 layers, I drop down to the bottom 2 layers and do exactly the same thing across the bottom. Now I have to say, I expected this method to be really very fast. I was expecting it to be quick because obviously you can run, that's a really good start, you can break blocks really nice and quickly. In fact, you barely have to move your mouse because of the way that you angle it. So I thought that because you're spending most of your time breaking the blocks, this would actually be a really quick method, but it turns out it's a tiny bit on the slow side. To take out the entire 20 by 20 by 4 area, it took 3 minutes and 27 seconds whilst using the efficiency 5 pickaxe and the haste 2 beacon. So then I thought to myself, well, I'll stick with the 1 wide theme, but this time I will take out a 4 high area as opposed to taking out a 2 high area. So I started mining across, and instantly I noticed that this technique was a lot faster. Although I can't sprint anymore, I can break the blocks quite a lot quicker because I can just nod my head up and down, and because we've got Instamine, it just blasts through all of the blocks as fast as possible. So I was bobbing back and forth, obviously feeling a little bit ill at this point in time with all of the head shaking that's going on, but by the end I cleared out the full 20 by 20 by 4 area in just 3 minutes. Now that's 27 seconds faster than mining out a 2 high by 1 wide space. That is a considerable improvement. It's massive. So already, I have learned something new. I wouldn't originally mine out a 4 high area like that, but clearly it's actually a really quick method of doing things. So now I thought to myself, forget the whole 2 high action stuff, because the 2 high stuff is just clearly much slower than the 4 high stuff. How about we take a look at mining out a 4 high area that is also 3 blocks wide. So I take out a 4 by 3 area every single time I go across, and then I make my way back across the platform and basically go back and forth just like that. Now once again, there was a considerable improvement here. As soon as I started breaking the blocks, I just noticed that I was making a lot more progress than I would have done zipping back and forth. And that's quite simply because you don't have to do as many turns at the end. The idea behind these mining techniques is to spend as much time as possible breaking blocks, and if you're wasting time turning around and not breaking any blocks, then, well, you've wasted time, and that makes it an inefficient mining technique. So this time, we managed to take out the full area in just 2 minutes and 20 seconds. A 40-second improvement upon the previous method, which was already considerably faster than the first method. We've saved over a minute in total so far, which I would say is a pretty good gain in terms of efficiency. Next up, we're going to be doing a technique that I personally have never used before, but I've been seeing a ton down in the comment section, and that is the spiral method. So what you do is you start on the outside and you mine around until eventually you reach the middle, and once you do reach the middle, you've mined out all of the blocks. Now we're going to be taking out the blocks in a 4 by 3 area because that seems like the most efficient way of doing things, and I have to say, I actually thought this was the fastest. As I was doing it, it felt like a really quick method, and I think that's because you start with the long bit, and then gradually it takes less and less time to take out all of the blocks, so you get this impression that things are actually speeding up, when in reality you're just clearing out less blocks each time. But in total, it took 2 minutes and 25 seconds to clear out the entire space, so it's 5 seconds slower than the previous design, and that could be put down to a number of different factors. Maybe they'd be closer or further apart on different tests, but I'd put them on a very similar level. So both of these techniques seem like a pretty good way to go. Now this This one is probably one of my favorite techniques, and that is the swing your pickaxe aimlessly while you hit as many blocks as you possibly can technique. So once again, we're going to be taking out a 4 high area right here, and all you have to do is you have to point your pickaxe in a certain direction and then start going crazy with the mouse while holding down the left click button. Now unfortunately this only really works with efficiency 5 and haste 2 because you have to have Instamine, otherwise you're not going to break any of the blocks that you go past, whereas with Instamine, just wherever you swing your pickaxe, you break up every single block, whatever path you travel on. So you could just go crazy with the mouse and just break everything in front of you, and it turns out that going crazy with the mouse is actually a really fast way of breaking blocks. Once again, we managed to do this entire thing in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, so it makes it identical to taking out blocks in a 4x3 area, and it puts it on par with taking out blocks in a 4x3 area and doing it in the spiral formation. So considering there is absolutely no technique to this one, I would say that's pretty good going. Now I'll be honest, I was planning on ending the video there. I was going to say, don't mine out a 2 high area because that's not particularly efficient, don't mine out a 1 wide area because once again, that's not particularly efficient. I would suggest mining out a 4x3 area, either going back and forth or in spirals, or if you really want to, you can just be completely random and swing your pickaxe all over the place. That was going to be my official conclusion of the video, but then I thought to myself, well hang on a minute, 2 blocks high has got itself a time, and 4 blocks high has got itself a time, but we haven't measured 3 blocks high. What if there is an optimum at 3 blocks high? So I decided to change up my experiment just a tiny bit. If we hit this button over here, we get ourselves a 20 by 20 by 3 area, and then what I'm going to have to do is a tiny bit of multiplication of the time at the end here to get ourselves an official result. So I thought what I'd do is bring forward some of the fastest methods from the previous set of methods and try them out on the new 3 high area. So one of my personal favorites was taking out the 4x3 area. This time we're going to be taking out a 3x3 area, and while I was doing it, I thought to myself that this thing is really fast. I mean, I was amazed by how quick it was going, but then I thought, well, I'm only taking out 3/4 of the blocks, so I suppose it's going to feel a lot faster, but no, it turns out that it is just considerably faster. In total, it took 1 minute and 35 seconds to clear out the entire space of blocks, but of course then we had to do a tiny bit of maths, and that works out at 2 minutes and 7 seconds to clear out the equivalent number of blocks that we used for the previous tests. 2 minutes and 7 seconds, so that is 13 seconds faster than the previous methods, which I would say is a pretty good start. But as I'm sure you remember, there was also another method in the previous set of methods that I personally absolutely love that was also completely equal with the taken out of the 4x3 area, and that is to swing your pickaxe randomly. Now, I would say that random has a bit of an advantage in the 3 high zone because 3 blocks high is sort of in your swinging space. When it was 4 blocks high, occasionally I'd miss blocks and I'd have to go back and take those out. With the 3 high space, that totally wasn't the case. Everything was in reach. I would just swing my pickaxe like a madman and I'd be able to chew through all of the blocks really, really quickly. And I guess I was correct in thinking that because the time is completely ridiculous. It took 1 minute and 30 seconds. 1 minute and 30 seconds to clear out all of the blocks in that area right there. So once you've done all of our mathematics and things, we end up with a time of 2 minutes in total. 2 minutes to clear out the equivalent number of blocks from the previous test. Now that's 20 seconds faster than the fastest methods from the previous tests, but most importantly, it's 1 minute and 27 seconds faster than the first method that we tried out. So that just shows that your mining technique makes a massive difference. Far more of a difference than I was expecting. I was only expecting like a 15 seconds difference between the fastest and the slowest. 1 minute and 27 seconds, that is substantial. So here are the results ordered from slowest through to fastest. So the slowest technique was to mine out a 2 high by 1 wide area. That took 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Then to clear a 4 high by 1 wide area, it took 3 minutes. To do a 4x3 space in a spiral formation, it took 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Then to do a 4x3 area, going back and forth like this, it took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. To do it completely randomly in a 4 high space, it took 2 minutes and 20 seconds once again. Then to clear out a 3x3 area, it took 2 minutes and 7 seconds to clear out all of the blocks. And the fastest method was actually to randomly break all of the blocks in a 3 high space, taking just 2 minutes to clear out all of the blocks. So we have it, guys. I hope that you found this video useful. I know that the results have been very surprising for me. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'll see you later.